Hello, good day, my dear friends. Today, Indrakant Pathak. My name is Indrakant Pathak. I'm a professor. I've been teaching anatomy and physiology to the MBBS students. So today, my topic is animation of the circulation of the blood. Means today, I would like to be about circulation of blood, about heart, and arteries, veins that are related, that are attached to the heart, that takes the blood and gives the blood. So all these things have to do after this blood, right? So my dear friend, you see this one. Just I have opened a body in front of you, and you could say like this one, thoracic bones are there, yeah, right? Inside that one, you are having liver also. Here you have lungs also, liver, lungs, heart, heart here. You could say this is heart here also, right? And this is the liver and lungs both sides, right? And after that, small, that intestine and large intestine, all these things are there. Inside that, you are having the yacht also there, ribs are there, fresh ribs are there. Yeah. So if you open the ribs, then you could see all these things. I have just opened the stomach and I have just lifted the ribs. And after the removing the ribs, you could see all the organs going over there. Right. So in this way, we could dissect the body by difference to show that it is. So let's start. You know the following. First, you have to understand what is blood exactly, right? And out of 100%, what is the percentage of plasma and blood corpuscles? Actually, whenever we talk about blood, my dear friend, in blood, of course, blood is called connective tissue. That plasma is also there and blood corpuscles also there. So out of 100%, what is the percentage of blood and blood corpuscles? After that, are the proteins like albumins, globulins, and granulins the part of plasma? You must have heard proteins like albumin is a protein, also globulin protein, and granulin. All these are the proteins. So question is that, are these a part of plasma? Next one, is plasma extracellular fluid or intracellular fluid? Next one, in plasma, what is the percentage of water and protein? And after that, you have to explain hemopoiesis, erythropoiesis, polycythemia, erythrocytopenia, total leukocyte count, TLC, leukopenia, leukocytosis, leukemia, like blood cancer, thrombocytopenia, thrombocytosis, thermoregulation, right? You have to explain all this. Now, what is the average lifespan of WBC or what do you say, white blood corpuscles? What is the average lifespan of white blood corpuscles? What the number of RBC, red blood corpuscles in the human female and male? Does the RBC have nucleus? So today we will discuss about all these things, my dear friend. That's a great topic today. But first of all, I would like to show you. Actually, the whole body is from heart, arteries and veins. Both are the part that carries the blood. Artery, you know very well, that carries the blood, pure blood from heart to the whole body. And from whole body, veins that carry pure blood from the whole body to the artery. And sorry, to the heart. And from heart, it takes the blood, pure blood to the lungs so that it gets purified. That's why it's called double circulation, my dear friend. So, my dear friend, here first you see, you could see simply, I'm telling you, heart is there. From heart, one is called superior vena cava. You must have heard superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, right? Actually, vena cava is the largest vein, right? That vein carries the impure blood to the heart. So, the upper part blood, superior vena cava, is the artery which carries the blood, impure blood from upper part of the body to the heart. And where in the heart it put that is left atriole. Auricle, you must have heard that. Auricle and ventricle. In the left auricle is over there, right? Right auricle or left auricle? I'm telling you, right? Okay. Next one is called inferior vena cava. Superior vena cava, I told you, it carries blood from the upper part of this. And from lower part of the body, it carries the impure blood to the heart. It takes the blood to the heart. And via heart, it goes to the lungs where it gets purified. Now, superior vena cava, this is superior vena cava, my dear friend. And now ascending aorta, here I told you obviously. Carotid is carotid artery, I will explain. Jugular vein, I will explain. Superior vena cava, I will explain all this. So let us see first one. So transportation in human beings, first I'm telling you. Means transportation of what? Transportation of blood. In human beings, various substances such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, digested food material, hormones, excretory products, etc., are transported by the blood. You know very well. The blood circulates in the body and reaches each and every organ through the blood circulatory system, which consists of the heart and the blood vessels. You know very well, right? Now let's talk about blood, because you must have heard whenever we talk about right now we are talking about heart and blood. So blood is what is blood exactly? The blood is a complex fluid connective tissue. You must have heard that tissues are made up of a collection of cells. Uh, Collectively, collection of similar cells from the tissues, and collection of similar tissues from the organ. Right. So blood is a complex fluid connective tissue. The two main components of blood are plasma and blood cells or corpuscles. The two main components of blood. You could be asked question. So what are the components of blood? So there are two main components of blood. One is called plasma and second is called blood corpuscles. Right. So here I divided into this one. Blood, it will divide in two parts, plasma and second is called blood corpuscles. Got it? Now, my dear friend, whenever we talk about corpuscles, like RBC, WBC, right, and thrombocytes. RBC is called a red blood corpuscle, but erythrocytes. RBC is also called erythrocytes, right? And white blood corpuscles is also called leukocytes, right? And after that, blood platelets. So when we talk about corpuscles, there are three types of corpuscles: RBC, WBC, and thrombocytes, like blood platelets. So RBC, WBC, and blood platelets. So white blood corpuscles. Let's talk about the white blood corpuscles, means leukocytes. So whenever we talk about RBC generally helps in transportation, right? And WBC, white blood corpuscle, is fighting the foreign particles that comes to the body to create panic, to create disturbances. So it fights with against those bacteria and viruses. So white blood corpuscles, it could be divided into two parts: granulocytes and granulocytes. Granulocytes and granulocytes, right? Now, once again, I'm dividing granulocytes. Granulocytes is divided into two parts: lymphocytes and monocytes, right? As I told you, white blood corpuscles is divided into two parts: granulocyte and granulocyte. Right? Granulocyte and granulocyte. Now we have to divide a granulocyte. So a granulocyte, when we talk, it could be of two types: lymphocytes and monocytes, right? So I have divided granulocytes into two parts: lymphocytes and monocytes. And the granulocytes can be also divided into three parts: eosinophils, basophils, and neutrophils. So, my dear friends, they are very, very important things. Now we talk about blood. So we talk about these are white blood corpuscles only, right? Sometimes in the diagnosis, it is written that eosinophils, basophils, neutrophils. So you must have heard that these are the top types of white blood cells, right? You must have heard lymphocytes, granulocytes, lymphocytes, and monocytes. They are also types. That's another one. Now I'm telling you about plasma, my dear friend. Actually, plasma is 55% of blood, right? It is the extracellular fluid of blood, constituting about 55% of the blood volume, right? It is slightly alkaline, non-living, intercellular pale yellow component of the blood, right? Yellow component. About 90% of plasma is formed of water, It contains 7% of protein. Okay, proteins are 7%. Proteins are the second largest constituent of plasma, right? Like albumin, globulins, and fibrinogen are the important types of protein present in the plasma, right? So as I asked the question, albumin, globulins, and fibrinogen are the important type of proteins present in the plasma. So remember, all these proteins, albumin, globulin, and fibrinogen, these are present in the plasma. In plasma, several organic and inorganic substances are dissolved, such as proteins, glucose, cholesterol, urea, hormones, vitamins, and inorganic salts also. Plasma transports food, carbon dioxide, in nitrogenous waste in dissolved. Got it? So, my dear friend, I told you what plasma is 5% of blood, and how much percent of water is there, and what about 7% that's called, I told you 7% proteins are there, in that proteins, albumin, carbohydrate, and globulin is there. Now I'm telling you blood corpuscles, 45%. As I told you, blood is made up of plasma and blood corpuscles. 55% is plasma, while 45% is blood corpuscles, right? So whenever we talk about blood corpuscles, my dear friend, it's a very interesting, my dear friend. You have great interest in this. So corpus, there are three types of blood corpuscles, as I told you: RBC, WBC, and blood corpuscles, blood platelets. RBC, WBC, and blood platelets, I told you. So question is that, what do you mean by hemopoiesis? As I asked you question, hemopoiesis. So it is the process of formation of all blood cells. So hemopoiesis is what? It is the process of formation of all blood cells, right? Now I'm telling you for the first one, erythrocytes, means red blood corpuscles or RBC, right? The number of RBC in human female is 4.5 to 5 million, right? If the RBC number in human female is 4.5 to 5 million, and males is 5.5 to 5 million. Always known. As I told you, RBC, number of RBC in human being is 4.5 to 5 million, and in male it is a 5.5 to 5 million. And the very, very important thing, they are circular biconcave. They are biconcave and enucleated, means no nucleus is there, my dear friend. Non-nucleated in mammals. We are talking about mammals. Definitely, we are human beings. We are mammalian. A red colored pigment, hemoglobin, is found in RBC. You must have heard hemoglobin, right? A red colored pigment, like the hemoglobin, is found in RBC. The amount of hemoglobin in human male is about 15 grams, right? 15 gram, yeah, 100 milliliter, and in human female is 13 to 14 grams. So always remember the amount of hemoglobin in human male is how much? 15 grams. And in human female it is 13 to 14 grams. So in which less number is there? 15 gram in male and 13 to 14 gram in female. In female it is that. Now clinical importance I'm telling you. Less amount of hemoglobin than the normal range is called anemia. Actually, as I told you, normal range, what is the normal range of hemoglobin is? Like 15 gram in the male and 13 to 14 gram in female, right? But if less amount of hemoglobin is there, then it causes anemia, my dear friend. Lack of RBC. Hemoglobin performs a very important function of carrying oxygen from lung to the tissue. What is the function of hemoglobin? Hemoglobin, it takes the oxygen from, right? So hemoglobin performs a very important function of carrying oxygen from lungs to the tissues and carbon dioxide from tissues to the lungs. It performs the function, right? Now, process of RBC formation is called erythropoiesis. Now, I told you one question was there, hemopoiesis, right? Hemopoiesis, the process of formation of all blood cells, I told you. Now, second is that, what do you mean by another one? Erythropoiesis, right? Erythropoiesis, I'm telling you. So, process of RBC formation is called erythropoiesis. Now, what was homeopoiesis? that I told you hemopoiesis, process of formation of all blood cells. All blood cells means RBC also, WBC also, platelets also, but especially if RBC is formed, red blood corpuscles is formed, that's called erythropoiesis. That's called that's called, what do we say this one is? Hemopoiesis, or this called erythropoiesis. So erythropoietic tissue is found in red bone marrow. Where erythropoiesis takes place, where RBC formation takes place. So RBC formation takes place in red bone marrow. Because in red bone marrow, erythropoietic tissues are there. Where erythropoietic tissue is there, where RBC forms. So RBC formation takes place in bone marrow, in red bone marrow, right? Now, average lifespan of RBC. Do you know what the average lifespan of RBC in human being is? 120 days, my dear friend, right? After which they are broken down in a spleen. This is called graveyard of RBC and liver. So simply you could say average lifespan of RBC in human being is 120 days. So up to 120 days it survives. And if normal rise in RBC count is called polycythemia. The question I asked you earlier also, what do you mean by polycythemia? So when RBC count starts increasing in abnormal way, that's called polycythemia, right? And when it starts decreasing in the number of RBC in abnormal way, we say erythrocytopenia. So two words are there, polycythemia and erythrocytopenia. So remember, suppose polycythemia, or second is erythrocytopenia. So what do you mean by polycythemia? An abnormal rise in RBC count. When RBC starts increasing abnormally, it is called polycythemia, right? And when RBC starts decreasing abnormally, it's called erythrocytopenia. Got it? Now I told you RBC, I told you. Erythropoiesis also I told you, formation of RBC. Now I'm telling you leukocytes, right? What leukocytes? White blood corpuscles or WBC. The number of leukocytes per microliter of blood is called the total leukocyte count. Question is we ask, what do you mean by TLC? Right? Whenever you go to check up, it is written that TLC, total leukocyte count. What do you mean by total leukocyte count? The number of leukocytes per microliter of blood. Right? They are round or irregular in shape. Whenever we talk about a WBC, white blood corpuscles, they are round or irregular in shape. They are colorless blood cells, right? Lacks hemoglobin. Actually, here we don't have hemoglobin because hemoglobin present blood color is red. So in our WBC, hemoglobin is not present. The normal WBC count is 5,000 to 6,000 cubic millimeters of blood. This is normal count is 5,000 to 6,000. Lower count of WBC is called leukopenia, and a high WBC count is called leukocytosis. Two words you have to understand. You could be asked question, what do you mean by leukopenia and leukocytosis? So leukopenia means lower count of WBC. As I told you, the normal WBC count is 5,000 to 6,000, right? That's called, and if it is a lower count of WBC, it's called leukopenia, and a high WBC count is called leukocytosis, right? So if normal rise in WBC termed as leukemia, blood cancer. Actually, here you have to understand one thing. What is blood cancer? If normal rise in WBC, actually whenever WBC, white blood corpuscles, when it starts rising, my different in the number, it is called leukemia, that's blood cancer. And the question it could be asked, every lifespan of WBC. If you are 2 to 3 days only, my dear. Every lifespan of WBC is few hours, 2 to 3 days. So now starts immunity. WBC protect our body from infection. You know very well. As I told you, RBC carries the materials, right? RBC carries the oxygen also. But WBC, white blood corpuscles, protect our body from infection. When any foreign particle or pathogen enters into the body, right? WBC likes neutrophil and monocytes is squeezed out through the capillary wall by the process called diapedesis, right? What do you say? Diapedesis. The WBC engulf and destroy foreign particles. They also produce antibodies against the foreign particles, like foreign particle like antigen, it produces antibodies. Hence, they are also called soldier of the body. That is a soldier of the body. So you could ask question, what is called soldier of the body, RBC or WBC? So you can say WBC is called soldier of the body because it fights against the foreign particles. Right. Now telling you about blood platelets, my dear friend. They are non-nucleated, round or oval, like convex disc-like bodies formed in red bone marrow and help in blood coagulation. As I told you, my dear friend, in red bone marrow, RBC forms. RBC formation takes place in red bone marrow, right? And where also blood platelets also forms. Blood platelets also form in RBC and red bone marrow. It helps in blood coagulation, my dear friend. But its lifespan is 8 days or 1 week. Generally, you could be asked question, what is the lifespan of blood platelets? The lifespan is 8 days or 1 week. Blood platelets plug the leakage and help in clotting of blood at the site of injury. Where if you get a wound, if you get an injury, then definitely blood platelets, it goes there, and if the leakage is not plugged, it would lead to loss of blood and ultimately loss of pressure, which would reduce the efficiency of the pumping system, right? So low count of platelets is called thrombocytopenia, and the high platelet count is called thrombocytosis. So very, very important two words here: thrombocytopenia and thrombocytosis. That's called platelets. Generally, when several diseases are there, where mosquito bites also, then they do that platelets more, platelets less, right? So when less count of platelets is called thrombocytopenia, and the high platelet is called thrombocytosis. Now, I'm telling you functions of blood. What are the functions of blood? So it helps in transport of food material and respiratory gases. Blood always helps in transport of food material and respiratory gases. It helps in transport of hormones, excreted matter, and salts. It helps in maintaining body temperature, thermoregulation is called. Helps in defense against infection, and enhances in blood clotting, my dear friend, right? So, the next one I will tell you in next class. Thank you very much today, right? If you like this video, you must like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, my dear friend. I will give you in next class. Thank you more than great. Thank you. Bye.